Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
For 42 years, he has terrorized this town. Tonight, it ends.
We need to stop this mother.
We need a plan of attack.
We have to get these people out of town.
How can he still be alive?
This is Officer Williams. Our night isn't over yet.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today we're going to take a look at the one film in the Halloween franchise that does not feature Michael Myers, Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, starring Tom Atkins, Stacey Nelkin, Dan O'Harley, Michael Curry, Ralph Straight, Jadine Barber, Nancy Kyes, Dick Warlock, and Jamie Lee Curtis. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And as I said in the introduction, today we're going to take a look at the one film in the Halloween saga that does not feature Michael Myers, Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. And our movie begins on October 23rd in Northern California as shop owner Harry Grimbridge is pursued by mysterious men in suits with a jack-o'-lantern Halloween mask in his possession. He collapses at the shop of Walter Jones, who calls for help. Harry is then taken to a hospital where he is placed in the care of Dr. Daniel Chalice, an alcoholic doctor who has a very strained relationship with his ex-wife, Linda, and his two children, Willie and Bella. Later that night, Harry is murdered by another suited man who immolates himself in his car afterwards. After identifying the body, Harry's daughter, Ellie, meets Daniel at a bar and reveals that she has discovered some suspicious events surrounding her father's death. In order to investigate, Daniel and Ellie decide to travel to the Shamrock Factory in Santa Mira, California, where the masks are made. Upon their arrival, they check into a motel, the manager of which reveals that Conal Cochran and his factory, Shamrock Novelties, the producers of the popular Halloween masks, are the source of the entire town's prosperity. Now, while checking into the motel, Daniel learns that Harry was also a recent guest. Meanwhile, Marge Gutman, another motel guest, discovers a microchip on the back of the medallion of one of the masks. Now, the medallion emits a deadly energy beam into her mouth as she picks at it curiously with a hairpin. Her face is left mutilated as a result, and an insect crawls out of her mouth. Shortly thereafter, men in lab coats take Marge's body away in a silver Shamrock van. Daniel overhears factory technicians telling Mr. Cochran over the phone that it was a misfire. While Daniel and Ellie tour the factory the following morning, Ellie finds her father's car, guarded by more men in suits who prevent her from getting any closer to it. Daniel and Ellie flee, attempting to contact the authorities, but Daniel is unable to reach anyone who is outside of town by phone. Meanwhile, Ellie is kidnapped and taken to the factory, while Daniel follows and is captured by the men in suits, who are revealed to be androids that Cochran created. Cochran then takes Daniel to the final processing control room where he reveals his master plan. The microchips on each mask contain a fragment of a piece of Stonehenge that he stole. Upon viewing the big giveaway commercial, the microchips on the masks will activate, killing whoever is wearing them with fatal brain damage and causing a swarm of insects and snakes to emanate from their bodies, and also killing anyone nearby. Meanwhile, Cochran locks Daniel into a room with the mask on and explains his intention to resurrect ancient pagan rituals of sacrificing children during the age of Samhain from his native Celtic lands. Daniel is able to escape his bonds and rescues Ellie, and they then sneak into the control room where Daniel activates the commercial to play upon the screens and then pours a box of medallions from a ceiling rafter, which kills everyone in the room. Then Cochrane is also killed by the Stonehenge ruin, leading to a massive fire that destroys the Silver Shamrock factory. As they flee, Daniel is attacked by Ellie, which is revealed to be an android duplicate. The struggle leads to a car crash, and then Daniel destroys the duplicate Ellie with a tire iron. Daniel flees on foot to Walter's shop, where he frantically calls the various television networks in an attempt to convince them to terminate the broadcast. 2 channels abort, but a third station fails to do so, with Daniel screaming into the telephone, pleading with them to make it stop as our movie comes to its end. Halloween 3 definitely isn't as good as the first 2 installments of the franchise, but it's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. People are just salty the fact that Michael isn't in this one. You notice there's no year given as to when this story takes place. It just begins on October 23rd. My thought process is all of this is happening at the same time or around the same time of the original story. Now, you may argue me because in Halloween 3, we do see Michael, albeit briefly, on the television broadcast because they're airing Halloween on Halloween night. So, at worst, this is happening like the year or 2 after the original story, even though they don't give us a definitive date. Maybe it takes place the year that it was actually released. But be that as it may, regardless, it's a separate story in of itself. It was supposed to start a whole other series of crazy, kooky things that happen on Halloween night and just leave Michael dead and buried. But so many people had issue with the fact that there was no Michael Myers in this that they ended up resurrecting him for Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, which we'll get into tomorrow. This is one of those things that if the movie had just been called The Season of the Witch, people wouldn't hate on it near as much as they do. But because it has Halloween 3 tacked above it, people shit on this because there's no Michael Myers. And it's a shame because when you remove that aspect of it, it's actually a pretty decent movie. Again, is it as good as part 1 or part 2? No, but it's not bad either. As a matter of fact, when it comes to my rating of Halloween 3, I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Again, not as good as the original, which was a 5-star classic, not as good as part 2, which I made it 4 stars. But I think it was a damn good movie and definitely deserves some reconsideration by the masses. And just watch this movie and forget about the fact that it's labeled Halloween 3. And just watch it as if it was called The Season of the Witch. And I think if people can do that, this movie would get a lot more praise than it does. What do you guys think of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch? Let me know if you're watching the premiere. Leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. But let's engage in that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction in the comments below. You guys know how much I enjoy that. Make sure you guys tune in at the top of the half hour, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And we're going to be taking a look at the season finale of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, episode entitled, Whose Show Is This? Starring Tatiana Maslany, Jamila Jamil, Ginger Gonzaga, Josh Segarra, Mark Lynn Baker, Mark Ruffalo, Tim Roth, Benedict Wong, John Bass, Charlie Cox, and Will Dusner. And then tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, will be another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And we're going to pick up the story of Michael Myers with Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, starring Donald Pleasance, Ellie Cornell, Danielle Harris, Bo Starr, Kathleen Kinmont, Sasha Jensen, Tom Morga, and George P. Wilbur. So much content coming still for the remainder of this month. You don't want to miss out on any of that. So make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on. That way you're alerted anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, and pay-per-view PLE coverage. Make sure you share this video with your family, friends, loved ones, co-workers, movie fanatics, cinephiles, horror movie fans, John Carpenter fans, Halloween franchise fans, etc. It's the only way we're going to boost up my visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized, make some money on this endeavor. Thank you once again to all of you guys who tuned in and joined me here today. It means more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.